Hey YouTube, this is PrimetimePokemon. In this video, I'll be sharing some more tips for Pokemon card collecting. Specifically, in this video, I'll be discussing Pokemon card prices and what I think is the best way to figure out how much a specific Pokemon card is worth. Now, if you are interested in this topic, several resources that you should also find useful. The first would be taking a look at my book, Pokemon Cards, the Unofficial Ultimate Collector's Guide. Inside my book, I have prices for all cards from base set through Guardians Rising, and I can link to the Amazon listing for my book in the description of this video. I've also done a video on selling your Pokemon cards. In that video, I talk about the price fluctuation of Pokemon cards and when the best time to both buy and sell Pokemon cards would be. And then, of course, I've also done a whole video series on how much Pokemon cards are worth. And each and every time a new set is released, I make a new video stating the prices for each and every ultra rare and secret rare card in that new set. Now, the problem with those resources, and all of those resources are good and it will guide you in the right direction, but prices fluctuate over time, and all those resources are a snapshot in time. They are static, they're not dynamic, they're not changing with the fluctuation in prices. So in this video, I'm going to try and help you figure out the best way to figure out how much a card is worth at this exact moment in time. Now, a little bit of background on myself. I have been collecting Pokemon cards since 1999, and I do have over 100,000 cards in my collection. So I've spent a lot of time researching Pokemon card prices. And what I've found the most helpful for figuring out how much a specific Pokemon card is worth is looking at sold listings on eBay. Now, before I get too far into eBay, if you have a specific card you're wondering about, and here are some of the more valuable types of cards out there, things like Gold Star cards, Shining cards, Crystal type Pokemon, that type of thing. If you're not exactly sure the card you have, do a Google search with the Pokemon's name and then the card number on the card. And the card number will be at the bottom left or bottom right of the card. Doing a Google search should tell you the set name. So then you can go to eBay, getting back to eBay now, and then you can just search on eBay by the Pokemon's name and then either the card number or the set name. And why I would highly recommend eBay would be for the ability to filter by sold listings. That way you can put in a specific card and see all of the prices that specific card sold for. And then there should be several results, and you can see the condition of each and every one of those cards. And that is something good on eBay. Usually the scans of the cards show the front and back, so you can get the best idea of the condition of the card. Another advantage with eBay is that you can filter by completed listings, so that way you can see how much a card is listed for and if that price is too high and it doesn't sell. It is important to remember that just because a card is listed at a certain price does not mean the card is worth that much. That is very, very important to remember. And just because you see a card for a certain price, you don't necessarily have to pay that price for that card. You can go somewhere else and try and get the card for a cheaper price. But again, I would highly recommend eBay sold listings. That will give you the best idea of how much a specific card is worth. Again, you can then filter that by different conditions of that card. And you can also see a timeline of that card, usually going back almost a year in time, to see how the prices has fluctuated for that specific card. Another good option for figuring out how much Pokemon cards are worth would be checking the price guide on TCG Player. Now, TCG Player is a website that sells individual cards, but they do have a very comprehensive price guide on their website that you can check by set and then go through and take a look at each and every card in that set and get a price for that card. Now, there are a couple of limitations on their price guide, even though it is updated quite often. The first would be that it mainly takes into account sold items on TCG Player. So if a card hasn't been sold through their website recently, it will not list a price for that card. And then number 2, it does take into account eBay sold listings, but it doesn't take into account things like condition of that card or something like a graded card. Now, I looked at TCG Player quite a bit when I was trying to get prices for my book, and that was something that I learned quite quickly, is that you really have to be skeptical of some of the more high-priced cards on TCG Player, just because you don't know what exact type of card that price is taking into account, whether it be something like a PSA graded card or something that is like a used condition card. But I would say that TCG Player is the second best resource for figuring out how much a specific card is worth. Similarly to eBay, it will have a price guide, and then you can also go ahead and buy that specific card right then and there. That way, maybe a price guide says it's worth $20, but then you go and look at 15 of the same card that's for sale and it's worth $25 trying to sell it for that amount. That means the price guide is behind in times, and that is probably worth more like $25. But again, I would say TCG Player is an excellent resource for figuring out how much a Pokemon card is worth. So the third and probably final step in trying to figure out how much a Pokemon card is worth, I would recommend looking at websites that sell individual Pokemon cards. Now, some of the websites I reference would be Troll and Toad, Collector's Cash, Dave and Adam's Card World, Poke Order, Professor Oak, and TCG Player. You can look at all of those websites and get a good idea of what the more valuable cards in a set are worth and what the cheaper cards in a set are worth. And then if you search the same exact card on all of those different websites and it's worth about the same, you know that card has about that specific value. So I would say that is a good option for checking out how much a specific Pokemon card is worth. So to summarize this video, if you're wondering about a specific Pokemon card, first, you should do a Google search just to know the exact card you have, what set the card is from. Then I would head to eBay and check sold listings for that specific card. I would then check completed listings, and then the current listings. Then I would head over to TCG Player, check out their price guide, and then check out their current listings. And then the final step in the process would be to check out the websites that sell individual Pokemon cards and see what those websites list a certain card for. After you've done all that research, you should have a very good idea of what a specific card is worth at this point in time. And you can follow this process anytime in the future. Now, it is important to remember, if you're trying to figure out values of Pokemon cards really aren't worth that much. Now, there are some cards out there that are worth $100 to $400, but there are not many cards out there, let's say, worth $1,000 plus. I would say about 95% of the Pokemon cards out there are worth less than, I would say, even $20. So for the most part, there's some value in Pokemon cards, but just because you have an older card, for example, it's not going to be worth a crazy amount. But this video should really help you figuring out how much your Pokemon cards are worth. And as always, if you have more questions about this topic, feel free to either message me or comment on this video. So there you have it. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, before you go, check out all the links in the description of this video, including links to my blog, Facebook, and Twitter pages. And stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.